Hey guys, and welcome to game number 23 of 100 of the Mack vs. Machine series, where I'll be playing 100 games of Scrabble against the top online bot, HastyBot. The score in the series is now 12 to 10 in my favor, so hopefully we can extend our lead a little bit more and get ourselves some more breathing room. Let's go ahead and get started. HastyBot will be first in this game, and let's see, we've got a pretty decent rack here to start things off. I see overtake and takeover. We also have oversoak from this O, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. It's a nice way to start things off. 92 points, and we actually have another bingo now. We have geranium from through this R. So very nice start for us, and we have a third bingo. We have non-title through this N. Not a huge score, but a bingo is a bingo, and we'll definitely take it. Worth just double checking since it's a pretty high prob rack that there's nothing better through any of the other tiles, but don't think so. CLIEUM. No, not seeing it, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And now it is time to actually slow down, since we will not be bingoing here. Okay, so we're already up quite a bit, not surprising given our 3 bingo start. Not a great rack, but definitely not a terrible. Aegis does take an E, so certainly one option would be to just play Z for 44, which is not too shabby by any means. Might be better off playing Zen, though, just because the D works well with the Q. We'll save a guaranteed play of either Quad or Kadi next turn. So that way at least we'll have some insurance and know for sure that we'll be able to get rid of the Q next turn, which is really nice. We could also, of course, play Cade first, saving Zen, but I'm also a little bit apprehensive about leaving this E open. I will be up about 100, so this E is very strong for possible triples and a great way for him to easily get back into this game. So I do like the idea of blocking it if I can, which Zen does. I'm not really worried about 6s to this E. I'd be more worried about triples. So yeah, probably between Zen and Zed. I think for just 3 points, I'd rather play Zen, just so that way I know for sure I'll be able to play off my Q for a decent score next turn. It's probably just a little bit safer. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, that's a cool play. So he plays Tristeza through the disconnected T and Z. He did use a lot of strong tiles, so he actually played off the letters in satire there. So a little bit surprising he didn't have a bingo. Maybe he had another I? That's my guess, because then Arius I don't think would have played, and then Listeria, Larius through this L wouldn't play. So my guess is he probably kept another I with that. But in any case, we're definitely going to slap down Cade here for 55. He only made our intended play score more, so that's always a welcome sight. And he plays Alevin for 39 to that end. So we're in very commanding position here. We're up 100 plus whatever we're going to score with our turn. And we have a pretty solid rack in this position. Not a lot of bingo threats either. The main ones really are these floaters he just opened in Alevin. So probably the sensible thing to do here is just to take that away and play something like, whoops, not Yaks, Yaw. Here. It scores 29. PREX is, of course, a very solid leave. And iDraw will give us Expire here for a good score. I just don't really see how he's going to get back into this game after a play like Yaw. I mean, there's almost nowhere else to bingo that's remotely easy to hit. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something stronger to this E. We have Yawper as well, YAWPER, but I don't think any great places to play it. Waxy. Yeah, there just aren't a lot of places to score a lot on this board without going to this E, so probably just Yaw here is perfectly fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and play that. Okay, he plays Footboy to this OY. That's a nice play to dump some tiles and also try to give himself a little bit more room to work with. So how do I want to address this? Or do I want to address it? I could also just basically ignore what he did and play something like Boxer. This does give back potential overlaps, though, which I'm not too keen on. Maybe Probe or Rebop? Does that work? I don't think so. Oh, how about... Well, I was going to say Rex here to set up the P, but there is another P unseen. So that's not great. Given my lead, I'm not keen on opening up a triple-triple with something like Prob. That's just giving him a way back into this game, or as it stands, he's going to definitely need to bingo twice. So I probably am going to end up sacrificing a bit of equity here just to play some defense. I could also... Yeah, I don't really want to just play like Box, because that gives him an easy sevens line if he has like an H or an L to hook How or Lao. I guess it's pretty unlikely he'll bingo with Prex if I play Rex, but it's not impossible, and I just don't really think I'm up enough that I don't need to take a risk like that. So I think I'm gonna try to be cautious here. I guess I have like Rebore, but that's pretty bad. I also don't want to get myself saddled with too many constants. I could also just play Brooks here. I mean, this is fine. It scores 32. EOPR is a leave where I can't really get into much trouble, and I do save plays here with like PE or PO next turn. So it's definitely an equity sacrifice over Prex or Boxer, but it's not a dramatic sacrifice. Probably like an 8-point sacrifice, and it just doesn't give anything back, which I'm a big fan of given the score. I'm not too worried about these bingo lines through the F and the O. They're not that easy to hit, and even through the O, it's not going to score a ton. And I should be able to just close down whatever he opens and still win pretty easily. I guess I could also, though, there's no Ys left. I could also just play Box. I mean, maybe this is the more sensible way to go. Because, like, after Box, he really can't bingo. I mean, there's not even enough space here. He'd have to start with, like, RAE or something. Like, he can't even really bingo. So maybe just Box is the more sensible way to go here. I mean, for spread purposes, I might be better off doing Boxer or Brooks or something. But in this kind of game where I just want to win, like, how do I lose this game after Box? I'm not worried about plays to this X. They don't open anything. I mean, he's going to need to bingo to, like, this I, or use the last T and an A to bingo to ATE, which is pretty unlikely. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play Box. I mean, I really don't see how I'm ever losing this game after a play like this. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so he plays Hog Tie for a decent score. Now I'll probably try to go here. Yeah, I can probably just play Pord now, right? I mean, yeah, he's extremely unlikely to bingo next to that. He'd need to start with like a M. He'd have to start with like M-A. I guess he'd have like Madeira or something, Madeira, but on the freak chance, excuse me, on the freak chance that happens, I should be able to just win easily. I'll be going up 110. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. I don't really see how I get into much trouble here. Okay, so he plays Denim, and I'm still holding on to my 100-point lead here, so again, no reason to really look for trouble. Now I don't think he has any possible bingos whatsoever, so I guess, I mean, there could be some freak 9 through this KA that I don't know, but I'm really not feeling it with that pool. I don't want to play something like Wild or Wind here, though, because then that'll give him a lane next to the WE. That's not that hard to hit. So I kind of just want to score some points and get rid of some of my consonants if I can here. Don't have anything great. Anything from this U? Not really. Maybe it does pay to just block this KA in case there's something crazy, I don't know, or he could steal the game. I mean, I am playing a bot with perfect word knowledge, and I've studied a lot of nines, but there could be something I don't know or see. It's certainly crazier things have happened. So I could consider doing that. But I feel pretty confident there's nothing, so I don't have a huge need to. I just don't really see anything good here. But I guess that's sort of the way I want it, given I have a 100-point lead. So I probably shouldn't be complaining. I guess I could just play something from this M that gives me an S, like mind or mild. It's not very inspiring. But, I mean, I don't think there's really any reason to overanalyze this. I should be winning pretty comfortably. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. I'll just play mild, and then maybe try to get like resaw or something next turn. Then I don't even have to think about possibilities from the KA. So that's nice. Okay, so he plays pricks, which makes sense, trying to open something up on the left, but I don't think he's gonna really have anything over there. I guess, yeah, maybe that's true. Actually, maybe I should have done something here just so that he couldn't have. Yeah, actually, on the last turn, I think I should have probably just played. I don't know what I could have done though. Maybe even just like oil here from this O, just so to avoid the Rex Prex setup. Now that I think of it, that probably would have been a more careful play than what I did on the right. Because I mean, things could get slightly dicey if he had just played Rex and I maybe had like no vowels or something, which is unlikely but conceivable. So just to avoid that possibility, I maybe should have just played oil here to really lock in the game. But okay, I guess here let's just play WAPs. Can't imagine there's anything better. Don't think that gives him any bingos. Raucous is not going to play. If I draw an F, scores 51. So let's just do that. Okay, he plays Focus. And we should be going out, I feel like, with this rack. Oh, we have Redan. That might actually be the only out on this board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so a pretty solid start to finish win for us here. 488 to 363 was the final score. I think we definitely got the better of the tiles. Of course, the 3 bingo start was quite fortunate. And then after that, I guess it was a little bit of a boring game. I just sort of played defensively and was able to hold on pretty easily. Maybe a little too paranoid at the end there. But yeah, I guess just a pretty clinical game all around, which after the latest stretch of more intense games is certainly somewhat welcome. But let's take a look and see what opportunities we may have missed. So he starts with Joe over Soak, looks, of course, the best here. Over Weak, I didn't actually see. I wouldn't have been 100%, I don't think, that was valid, but that's a cool word. Over Bake and Takeover and Overtake, I did see. But over Soak, once I saw that, of course, scores a lot more. Ye looks fine for him, scores well, just about as well as he can, keeps a strong leave. So he's still also keeping himself this R and this S lane open, which hopefully he can bingo to next turn and come back. Geranium, of course, now I get down. Clients looks good, opens up more lanes, and of course, unfortunately for him, it gives me yet another bingo of non-title. And he's already in some trouble here now, of course, down 100 after 3 turns. GAS, not a very inspiring play, closes down a lot on the right. I don't know what else there is. Vrig's in that spot is no better. he could play sig to set up his S. Of course, it also takes an N. And I'm pretty likely to just play through this E anyway, which would block that spot. I don't really like sig. I'd love to see him open up the left-hand side of the board, but I don't know how he really does that. I'm almost looking at a sign just to give back these S lines, but of course spending both of your S's is not very exciting either. So what other options are there? Yeah, Migs. This is all very uninspiring. I don't think he should block the E, given he could really use it next turn. Maybe if I drew something really bad, I may not end up blocking it. And maybe, yeah, I just don't really like sig, because then any play through the E also foils the line he just created, so it's sort of a waste. Maybe given the score, he should actually do a sign. Because the S may be more useful as a tile for him to bingo through than it is as a tile on his rack. And this really keeps everything open the best he can. So this may be the best way for him just in the long term to keep this board open and give himself the best chance of a comeback. It's of course very counterintuitive to spend both of your S's like this, but given how much he's already down, it may just be called for here. It just feels like after a play through the E, like it's really going to be hard for you to bingo. This is just not a pleasant board at all to be down 100 on. So I don't know, I might have actually gone with a sign there, but I mean, it's a big equity sacrifice, so I can't really fault him for just doing that. As for us, yeah, Zed, of course, is going to rank a little bit higher on static since it scores 3 more. But I still like stand by Zen just to keep the D. Then I have a guaranteed 28-point Q play next turn, which is always a good feeling. Well, when you're holding the U at least, or holding the Q rather, at least you know you'll be able to get rid of it next turn for a good score. So that looks good. This is a nice play by him of Tristeza. I mean, his situation is extremely bleak already at this point, but he's blowing up his rack. I think he needs to probably do this, though, and score and just hope for a miracle. And maybe he can claw his way back to within 1 bingo range somehow. Of course, my next play pretty much eliminates any of those hopes. And yeah, this is already pretty much lost for him. Alavin, about as good as he can do. Y'all looks pretty standard, takes away the lanes. It's not like I can really score much more anyway, so this looks fine. Footboy is a nice play by him just to open up some more lines, and yeah, here, of course, I have much better equity plays. In a tournament where spread matters, I'm not sure I would go with Prob. I probably would have gone with Boxer here, though, just to score more. I ended up playing Box in the game just to really cement in the win, given how spread pretty much doesn't matter here. It's just almost impossible to conjure a situation where I'm going to be losing after Box. I mean, there's almost nowhere for him to bingo, and I keep a pretty flexible leave. Of course, I mean, Box here is perfectly reasonable too, or Boxer, and it would be perfectly sane to do that, just to go for a little bit more spread. And I probably would have done something like that if it were early on in the tournament. But just in this position, I felt I want to maximize my win percentage as much as I can, and Box probably does the best job possible of that. He plays Hogtie, and yeah, I liked Poured better than Poured just because that makes bingos here that much more unlikely, since now he has to overlap 4 tiles instead of just 2. And the ED isn't really doing me all that much good. I'm much better off spending it now to reduce his bingo possibilities. So he plays Denim, and yeah, this was probably not smart by me in retrospect to play Mild, because there could be some remote possibilities, like maybe he can play Rex, and if I draw no vowels and he sets up Forceps or something like that, that could actually become a headache for me. So I didn't really look at this during the game. I probably should have just played something like Oil here. I know it looks weird, especially keeping the 5 consonants, but now I really don't have much to worry about. I mean, I guess he could still play something like Rob instead of his P, though, which could be annoying. Like, if I draw 7 consonants, it's going to be really hard for me to deal with anything. So is there a better way for me to address these possibilities? Maybe lib over here? There's no G for glib. Maybe lib. I give back this L, but that's not going to score much. Yeah, maybe lib would have been a better play just to like take out any of these setup possibilities on the left. That would have been defensible as well. I guess I could still run into issues though, like if he plays ER even. I mean, I'm probably not realistically going to lose, but if I have 7 consonants, I could still potentially get into some dicey waters there. So either way, it's a remote possibility I lose, but I feel like the Rex followed by Prex setup, it also scores so much, I probably should have at least addressed that. Of course, yeah, Oil does run into Rob, which is a very similar idea some amount of the time. It's probably impossible to entirely eliminate the threat of him setting up in a way that I can't block. But yeah, Lib might be smart here. Just because if he does set up ER, it's also not going to score as much if he bingos, and I'll have some chance probably to drop a tile here or here next turn to at least obstruct it somewhat. So probably Lib is actually the sensible play here. It's a little bit counterintuitive just because it does actually give him a bingo line, but I'm not worried if he hits this because I'm up 100 and he'll be scoring maybe 70 there, and I'll easily win in that endgame. Whereas after what I did, if he were to have played somehow Rex and then set up Prex, and I have to worry about forceps and I can't block that scores like 110. I could easily lose in that position. So yeah, I think Mild was not actually a great play. I mean, it's very unlikely to lose in any case, but I think I should have been a little bit more proactive here about dealing with potential setup plays on the left. But in any case, he plays Prex, and I did get a nice draw out of the bag, so easy win for me at this point. Just take the spot for 51, and then going out with Redan. So pretty straightforward game, not much to that one. I don't think once I was up to 3 bingos, it was a pretty easy job of just playing some defense and not giving back any opportunities to him, and I was able to hold on fairly comfortably. Mild, probably just a little bit careless. There's no reason for me to allow the possibility of Rex there to make that setup. But other than that, I think pretty clean game on my part. Nothing really to speak of. Certainly no major mistakes. So yeah, nice to have an easy win. It's been a little while since we've had one of those, and we now climb to 13 and 10 in the series score in our favor. So we're inching our lead back up, and hopefully we can continue the momentum into game number 24, which will be coming your way soon. So thanks again for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate all the support and all the feedback and suggestions in the comment section. Keep them coming, and I will be back soon with game 24. Have a good one.